What the government has announced a couple of hours back is that they're holding in abeyance the flight duty time limitations guidelines which they had introduced 2 years back for passenger safety, for flight safety in this country. Is that good enough?
I don't think it is good news at all. I think it is a terrible idea to buckle under pressure, and pressure coming from an airline which has captured over 60% of India's aviation in space. So having said that, this was something which was in place for last 2 years. What stopped the DGCA from holding IndiGo to account, checking with them what was happening in terms of transition and implementing these norms? This has happened just because DGCA has not lived up to the regulation demand that it had and to enforce that regulation. And probably I'm pretty certain that IndiGo management understood that they can defy all norms and can arm twist their way into submission, the government submitting itself as per whatever IndiGo expects from them. And this is the outcome of it. What is happening ultimately is the passengers are suffering. And the India ambition to see more passengers taking the air travel has taken a huge hit.
So basically what you're suggesting is that flight safety is less important than passenger convenience. And no one is saying that passenger convenience isn't important. But as you prioritize, have we gotten it all wrong?
No, absolutely. This was something which was implemented 2 years ago. It was supposed to have been followed by all the airlines. Why is it that IndiGo seems to be getting away with it? IndiGo seems to be flouting that particular regulation that was the demand of the day, not just for passenger safety, not just for flight safety, but even for the crew safety. We've been speaking about the mental health of the pilots, mental health of the crew ever since the Air India accident happened. And yet we do not see any implementation on ground simply because we have a situation where one airline or two airlines have controlled the entire industry. So this was something which was in the making, something that we had been alerting the government that it will come to a point where they will not just arm twist the passengers into paying higher airfares, having a check on the travel, the air travel that they do, and holding them to task, and as well as what is happening with the government. The government has buckled under just because you happen to have the most of the market share.
Is it also not a cause of huge concern that an airline as big as this has grown at this phenomenal trajectory where they're almost getting a new aircraft every week, but they haven't been able to hire pilots? Pilots you don't pluck them out of trees. And therefore, for them to have met the new guidelines, they would have required well more than 1,000 pilots. They never had those. So therefore, when we talk about growth in the aviation sector, does this also need to be tempered? Let's be realistic about growth.
No, absolutely. We do have a need, a hunger for people wanting to take the air route and travel faster, travel in a more convenient fashion. But and we also had the Prime Minister speak about Hawai Chappal se Hawai Yatra. Then we also had this big bombastic thing about having so many airports that were built. Now we have non-functional airports. There are no flights taking off from there or arriving there. We have airports which are in name, but they do not have any air traffic in terms of passengers moving in on flights. We have limited number of airlines. Again, this is a concern I had raised last year when Vayuyan Vidhayak bill was being discussed in the parliament, where I said, we are gloating about acquiring 800 aircrafts, but no one's talking about how we've reduced it to just 2 airlines, one a full service operation, which is Air India, and the other being IndiGo. And they, by the virtue of just 2 airlines, they have captured most of the market share. We should have been alerted when we have this ambition to ensure that we have more air traffic. We should have ensured that Go Airline didn't go down under. We supported SpiceJet. Jet Airways, which was trying to revive and come back to the skies, we did not support it as much. So we are now seeing a situation where airports don't have traffic. We have no interest of airlines prioritizing passenger safety, crew safety. And we are totally, if I may say so, we are absolutely ram bharose.
What about the fact, and this impacts, this is something other airlines are all doing, a one-way ticket between Delhi and Bombay, I was looking at Make My Trip, costs upwards of 25,000 rupees. My colleagues were looking at fares in other sectors, one-way tickets going up to 40,000 rupees because IndiGo flights are just not available. I understand the importance of a free market economy. We all support a free market economy. But at what level do we have to say that, this is extortion which is taking place?
So I must say, I must bring this to your notice again, Vishnu. During a parliament session when Mahakumbh was taking place, the airline tickets to Prayagraj were extremely expensive and hit the
Yeah.
roof. It was cheaper to travel to London from Delhi than to get a ticket there. And this is something that we again had tried to bring to the notice of the Civil Aviation Minister. And that time the chair in the Rajya Sabha was Shri Jagdeep Dhankar, who almost mocked at us and said that shouldn't you feel happy that we have so many people wanting to take the air route and this is dynamic airfares. This is not dynamic airfares. This is absolutely holding people to ransom because they have no choices. They have very limited choices. And then making use of that, emergency situations or tough situations to profit on it and to increase their traffic is extremely unfortunate, unthought out, unprincipled. And someone has to make them accountable. Otherwise, this is going to be a problem yet again in the future if you're not holding these, detailed discussions and having every stakeholder on board and figuring out how do we ensure that while we talk about Hawaii Chappal se Hawaii Yatra, we create an infrastructure which is conducive for passenger traffic to increase and increase to the proportions that we are seeing right now.